Hey there, mother lovers. Welcome back to another episode of Last Call at McLaren'S. I am your co-host, Josh, here with an amazing guy, my friend, my brother, John. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Can't be confused with you, but I'm pretty good.
True. This is the second take on this opening, just so you know. Called myself John the first time. Had to fix it up. All right. So today we are going to be talking Season 1, Episode 10, The Pineapple Incident. This is a real famous episode, I'll say.
This by far might be one of my top 10 favorite episodes of the entire series.
It's a damn good one. It's a damn good one.
You're a damn good one.
I know. But before we get into the episode, John, we have a 5-star review to give a shout out to from Apple Podcasts here. This is from username Miko Girl. The title of this review is Legendary.
Yes!
And they say, started listening from the beginning. Love How I Met Your Mother. And this cheers me up on my work commutes. Well, Miko Girl, thank you so much for listening.
Absolutely.
We love you, and we're gonna keep on pumping out these episodes.
Whoa, bro, pump the brakes. You cannot just tell some random girl who left us a review you love her.
Hey, man, if Ted Mosby can do it,
Ted Mosby?
If Ted Mosby can do it, so can I. Come on, man.
I'm Jed Mosley.
That's right. But thank you again, Miko Girl, and
Absolutely.
I hope that
really
this.
Glad that people are enjoying this podcast, and thank you for the awesome 5-star review.
Absolutely. I hope that this makes your work commute just that much better. All right. So, like I said, today we're talking about the Pineapple Incident. This episode aired November 28th of 2005, directed by Pamela Fryman, written by the creators of the show, Carter Bays and Craig Thomas. And the son, which, I mean, I feel like it's kind of like, it almost seems obvious, right? Because it's such a good episode.
Yeah.
And it's the guys who created the show. It's like, I mean, they know what's going on, you know? But the summary for this episode says, the gang tries to reconstruct what happened to Ted the previous night after he wakes up with a girl in his bed, no memory of the evening, and a pineapple on his nightstand.
Yep.
That's right. So I had, as I do with most episodes, I have some side notes here. They make up a new drink in this episode, which I think was kind of cool. Again, I wasn't able to find actual ingredients, but this is something that I noticed happens a lot throughout the show. You know, we just saw it in the previous episode, you know, with the Thanks Teeny and the Kwanzaa-politan, and then in the Barney's blog, there was a whole list of them. Then in this episode, we get a new drink. We get the what's it called? The one that becomes the Robin Scherbatsky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Tidal Wave.
Tidal Wave, yeah, that one. So, like, this is something that happens through, you know, a few times throughout, which I think is really interesting. This is where we get the very first Daddy's Home.
Yes.
Barney is in this episode. And we get the first baby doll reference from Ted, which I don't honestly know if it comes back anywhere other than the wedding bride episode.
I don't believe it does, but I don't think I'd ever caught it in this one until I went back and watched it today either.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh shit, he uses the baby doll thing in season 1.
Yeah.
And that definitely comes back in with Jed Mosley.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I think is hilarious.
Oh, he said it that time.
Oh, yeah. So episode starts off, we got future Ted. He's telling a story that he doesn't fully remember. You know, it's a story that he's only heard from other people. It's one that Marshall loves to tell, and he refers to it as the Pineapple Incident. So we head to the bar. Carl, the bartender, brings over a tray of shots that he made, and they are called the Red Dragon. I tried looking up an official recipe for this. Could not find anything. I found like some other people's interpretations of it, their versions of it, but no official recipe. But, you know, is what it is. Go ahead. You know, guys, if you have your own version of the Red Dragon, I want to hear about it. hit us up on Twitter at Last Call HIMYM. Send us your personal recipe for the Last Dragon with a little picture of it. I want to see that. We'll show this on the podcast.
Shit, I might even make it and drink it right here on the podcast.
Boom. There it is. So after Carl walks away, they all agree they're not going to do these shots.
Nope.
Lily even comments that it looks like blood. And this is where Marshall asks the question, is Carl a vampire?
Yeah. And I love it, too, because he's like, guys, I know I've brought this up before, and you guys keep shooting this down.
Yeah.
But could Carl be a vampire? Everybody's like, bro, you're dumb.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love that it's something that it's not the first time he's brought this up.
Yeah, and I love how, like, he clearly says that, too. He's like, this isn't the first time we've mentioned this. And I'm like,
yeah,
really? Like, what the fuck else could possibly be going on with Carl that you're that suspicious that he's a vampire?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do learn that Marshall super believes in, like, supernatural stuff, you know? And I don't know, man. Maybe it's just something that got into his head, and it just keeps on, keeps on ticking away at him. I don't know.
Maybe.
So Robin reveals that she has a date. Lily calls him a billionaire, but Robin says he's just 100 millionaire.
Yeah.
Stop rounding up, which I thought was hilarious. And this guy, we wind up meeting. His name is Derek. We meet him in the next episode for the first time, which I think is interesting because I remember the next episode, which is the limo. I remember this episode before even watching it again.
Yeah.
And I did not remember that he was supposed to be the 100 millionaire. Because I didn't remember that line from this episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I knew that he was like a wealthy guy, because like they say that in the limo episode. Like, but like the dude's like a crazy millionaire guy. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh shit. All right. Maybe do better, guy. But we'll get there. We'll get there when we get there. Robin heads out after some razzing by the group. Once gone, Marshall asks Ted if he's okay with the girl of his dreams going out with this guy. And Ted acts all nonchalant about it. We obviously know the truth. He's really not okay. And that's kind of where this whole episode stems from, is the fact that he's just not okay with what's going on in his own life. Barney goes over to some girls that are sitting in the bar, and he uses the daddy's home line, and Ted mocks him for it. We don't actually we see the girls in the background, but you don't really pay any attention to them.
Nope.
At first. But when I do this the show, when I do my prep, I watch the episode a couple of times. And so on my second viewing, I actually was paying attention, and it is those four actresses, which I thought was really cool. It's like they're actually there doing, doing the stuff with Barney, and later on with Ted, just in the background, which I thought was kind of really a nice piece of continuity for them.
Yeah.
Because they could have kept those girls off screen. They didn't have to be on screen, but I like that they are, because it shows you the realness of it, So it's like, if you're really paying attention, you'll see them again, which I think is really cool. Marshall continues to question whether Carl's a vampire. Then Barney walks back to the table with a girl's phone number named Amy. As far as we know, it's Amy. He tells Ted that he thinks too much. Marshall and Lily agree, and Ted decides he's not going to think anymore. And he just downs all 5 of those red dragon shots.
Oh, man.
And we've done, when we were younger, we did a lot of shots. But just downing 5 back to back, man, like, that's asking for trouble.
Well, this is what went through my head watching this episode back. First off, you don't actually know what's in those shots. Carl never actually says what he makes the shots.
Yeah, not at all.
2, you don't really know Carl at this point. Like, we don't know Carl. They might, as much as they frequent the bar. Yeah. There could have been something in those drinks.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You have no idea. I mean, I guess you want to be able to trust your bartender, you know?
I mean, yeah.
But like Marshall says, he could be a vampire. Maybe Ted's a vampire now. Maybe Ted's a vampire now. You don't know.
Maybe. That would make sense.
But after the 5th shot, Ted blacks out. We get this weird, hazy dream sequence, which is really neat. It's kind of reminiscent of like the Willy Wonka tunnel or like a Doctor Who kind of thing. Even the music's kind of Doctor Who-ish, which I thought was kind of cool. There's all kinds of you see the pineapple. There's there's a red dragon in there and a bunch of random numbers and stuff, which I'm assuming is the phone number that we learn later on is on Ted's arm. Probably. I'm not sure, but that's the only thing I could think of is like, what would the numbers be if not for that?
Could be Trudy's number.
That's true. It could be, but they're like handwritten. You know what I mean?
Oh, then they were definitely probably the ones on Ted's arm.
Yeah, I think they have to be the ones on Ted's arm. So then Ted wakes up in his bed, pineapple on the nightstand, and an unknown girl next to him. He gets out of bed, realizes he has a sprained ankle, goes out to the living room, and asks Lily and Marshall what the hell happened last night.
Yep.
And they begin to fill him in, and us. So we flash back to the bar. Carl comes over to see if they like the shots. Ted responds with, I drank all 5, bitch.
All 5, man.
And then reveals to Carl that Marshall thinks he's a vampire. I kind of
face.
Yeah, he was not happy. I really wish that we'd gotten some sort of like conversation between Carl and Marshall about that. I think it would have been hilarious.
I mean, it probably would have been funny. Yeah. But I went back and thought about it, and I'm pretty sure there's a Halloween episode later on where Carl dresses up as a vampire.
Oh, if that's true, that's going to be awesome.
Because I was thinking about it, and I'm pretty sure I remember an episode where they might have done like a Halloween episode or for some, I don't know. Yeah. But for some reason, I do remember Carl being a vampire.
Okay. We'll have to definitely keep an eye out for that. We then learn that Ted is vomit-free since 93.
I mean, it's impressive.
So we think. Ted, drunk Ted, I should say, pulls out his flip phone. And flip phone, kids, for those of you who don't know, is a cell phone that just flips in half. You know, comes up. It's got buttons. You can't go on Facebook. You know, it's just there to call and text, and that's it. Yep.
This was before the internet on the phone.
There's no Tinder on there. There's no Candy Crush on there.
Oh, no Facebook, no Snapchat.
Yep, none of that. You're not snapping pictures of your butt and sending it to guys. You're going to have to actually send a real picture.
I was going to say.
He gets to keep.
Back in the day, cell phones didn't have cameras.
Well, some did, but they were the more expensive ones.
That's true.
Yeah. Because, like, I know that at one point Barney has a flip phone with a camera, but it's like the crappiest one. It's like this little tiny picture, and he's doing the eye thing.
I remember that.
Yeah. I think that's hilarious. Anyways, Ted heads to the bathroom, but instead puts Cheap Trick on the jukebox and calls Robin again. He proceeds to drunkenly sing while talking to her, and then climbs up on a table, dances a little bit, and then falls off said table. In this scene, you can see those women again right there, including Trudy, who we meet later on, right there, which I think is great. Another great kind of moment for the show where if you've already seen it, you're like, oh shit, they're right there.
Yeah,
which I think is fantastic.
I think it's really funny that that's how he sprained his ankle, falling off the table somehow, because like it's a pretty solid fall right to the floor. So I'm not quite sure how that happens.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because, we've been drunk plenty of times, and I know we've both hurt ourselves while being drunk and have been able to just, because like he continues his night.
He does.
Without any sprained ankle issue. You know what I mean?
True.
He's not limping around or anything throughout the rest of it.
Hey, when you're alcohol fueled.
Yeah, man. It just numbs you, And so, like, I thought it was funny because, like, I totally understand that. Because I've been there. I totally have been there. It's like not great memories all the time, but you know. So we flash back to the present, and he reveals that there is a girl in his bed. They also discover that his jacket has a huge burn hole in it.
Yeah.
So they call Barney, and they find him sleeping in their tub, which I think is hilarious. And this is not the last time you see somebody sleeping in that tub. It comes back in other episodes, which I love. So he fills them in.
Also, the last time you ever see Barney sleeping in the tub, though.
That's true.
It happened a couple times where he'll sleep over in his suit and sleep in the tub for that reason.
Yeah, because the porcelain keeps his suit from wrinkling.
Yes.
Yeah. So they call Barney, like I said, and then he fills them in on some more of the story. After Marshall and Lily put Ted to bed, he got back up and went back to the bar where Barney was proclaiming, or where Barney was, and he proclaims, "I'm back, baby doll." This is where we get the first time of him saying that, which, like we said later on in the series, comes back. The whole baby doll thing comes back in the Wedding Bride stuff, which is fantastic.
No Ken Newsville, baby doll.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if I've ever, and this is the thing, I'm going to be paying attention now to see if Ted says baby doll any other times.
I mean,
because
I'll be with you on that.
Yeah, because like outside of Jed Mosley doing it in that movie, I didn't think it was actually something Ted said in the actual show.
And that's the thing. I didn't ever recall it either. And yeah, every time like Chris Kattan would say it in the movie, I'm like, I've never remembered Ted saying baby doll ever, let alone no Ken Newsville, baby doll.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but apparently the baby doll right here in season 1, man. I
mean, so it's going to be a great watch now.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely be paying attention. Especially when it comes to Stella. Because, you know, that's where it's all centered around, the whole movie thing. And I really wanted to know, because, like, if he doesn't say it to Stella, then they wouldn't know about it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be paying close attention.
Permission to quote Seinfeld?
Go ahead. Permission granted.
Stella!
Yes. So Barney tries to play Have You Met Ted? But Ted is trying to call Robin again. Yeah, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to have your phone on you like that.
Listen,
when you're drunk.
If you're that drunk, give your phone to somebody else, because you're going to make calls or texts that you're going to regret in the morning.
Yes, sir. So Barney tells him that if he completes that call, he's going to set him on fire. And he does, man. He was not lying. And that is how we find out that's where that burn hole in his jacket came from. Ted, not happy about this. But you know what, Ted? Maybe you should have paid more attention and not gotten ripped off, because this is not real suede. It's a blend.
I love how he's like, you set me on fire. And Barney's like, well, I mean, if this was real suede, it wouldn't have went up like that.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, that's even anything to do with the argument.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They then ask Barney, if he knows who the girl is in his room, and Barney just rushes over to his room to see, because he can't believe it. And he has no clue who that girl is. And Marshall is the only one who's interested in finding out about this pineapple.
I mean,
he's the only one.
In all fairness, it's a really good question.
It is. And it's a question that we will divulge later on in the episode. So if you guys don't know, because some people listening to this may have watched the whole series and may still not know this.
Maybe.
So I hope that you stick around. So Ted discovers a message on his arm. And it reads, "Hi, I'm Ted. If lost, please call." And then there's a phone number. They call it, and they find out that it's Carl from the bar.
Yeah.
I find this funny because earlier when Marshall's talking about Carl being a vampire, he's like, you never see him in the daytime. Well, it's literally the daytime right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be like noon at this point in the show.
Yeah, and Carl is at the bar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sorry, Marshall, that debunks your whole thing. Unless he's like Blade and he's a daywalker. then who knows? Or maybe the bar leads to like an underground catacomb.
I mean, in all fairness, though,
the sunlight never actually hits him.
There's no direct sunlight in the bar, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
maybe he just goes underground.
Maybe
when the bar closes.
I mean, you never see him step outside.
There you go. I don't think we do see him outside, do we?
We never see Carl outside. We see the other guy go out. Doug. We see Doug go outside.
We definitely see. Oh wait, no. We do see Carl outside of the bar. I think one time, and it's at a funeral.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, I think that's the only time that we see him outside of the bar. But
you're right.
Maybe he put on a lot of sunscreen. I don't know. So Carl fills them in more of the story. So we're getting pieces from everybody. We got pieces from Lily and Marshall. We got some pieces from Barney. Now we're getting some more from Carl. Apparently, after Barney put Ted to bed, Ted got up and went back to the bar. I'm back, baby doll, says it again. And went right to the bathroom to throw up.
Yep.
He then talks to Carl, tells him that karaoke means empty orchestra in Japanese, and it's hauntingly beautiful.
Hauntingly beautiful. And
then he flat out asks Carl if he's a vampire, which I thought was great.
Dude, honestly, I love that it's one of the running gags in this episode.
Yeah. Carl cuts him off, and Ted asks him how easy it would be to sneak into the zoo. This is where Carl then writes the message on Ted's arm so that if somebody finds him in a gutter, they'll call him and he'll go pick Ted up. Ted then leans into Carl. He's like, we can't keep denying these feelings we have for one another. And Carl's like, what are you talking about? And Ted's like, Robin. And so he goes and calls Robin again, as far as we know, and invites her to his place. She says yes, or so we think. That's right. Keep tuned. If you haven't watched the episode, I don't know why you're listening to this. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm over here.
I say that at least once every couple of episodes, but yeah.
I'm over here being all coy and shit. Like, oh, it's not Robin, guys. It's just not.
It's not.
No, it's not. So we wind up back at the apartment. They come to the conclusion, at least they think, that the girl in the bed is Robin.
Yep.
So Ted kind of starts freaking out. She's like, well, what does this mean? What's this going to do? So Ted goes to wake her up, but as he's in the room, right before he wakes her up, Robin calls him. So obviously this girl sleeping in the bed is not Robin.
Yep.
Robin says that she's going to swing by so that they can talk about all these phone calls that he made over, the entirety of the night. And before he can tell her not to, she hangs up, and now they got to worry about, well, there's this girl here, and Robin's coming over, and what do we do? And Lily says, if the girl isn't Robin, then who is it? And then out comes Trudy, played by Danica McKellar, who some of you may recognize as Winnie from The Wonder Years.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. She also, I found out, voices Miss Martian on the animated DC series Young Justice.
No shit.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
It is really cool.
I didn't realize that. Like I've watched all those episodes and did not realize that was her. So I thought that was really cool.
So, question about Danica McKellar. Sorry. So a lot of people do know her from The Wonder Years. So here's my question for you. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Would you lend me an ear? No, I'm sorry.
Oh, come on, man. You should have kept going. It would have been awesome.
I couldn't give a straight face anymore.
Oh, that was great, dude. That was perfect. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I might clip it out and just put it at the beginning of the episode. I don't know.
Oh, man. Just the joy and for those of you listening to the podcast and you're not watching the video, his face lit up, so bright.
As soon as I realized what exactly was going on, clicked in my brain. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Man! For those of you who don't know, those were the lyrics to the theme song from the Wonder Years, performed by the Beatles.
Oh, is that who did that?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
The song is called With Help from Our Friends, and it's performed by the Beatles.
Interesting. Did not know that. But see, now you'll learn something new every day. All right. So Trudy goes on to fill them in on the rest of the story.
Oh, my God. And the rest of the story from her perspective, it's probably the craziest part of the story.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So we flash back to the bar. She's there with her friends. We've seen her before. We didn't know who she was, but we've seen her before. She's post breakup. She's ready to pick up some random guy. Barney comes over, and she's like, maybe the next one. And this is where we see the other side of the daddy's home scene.
Yep.
Barney gets shot down by the table, but he decides he needs to prove a point to Ted. And he grabs a napkin. He writes down a fake number, and he's like, your name is Amy. He just writes it down and heads off. Then we see Ted dancing on the table. You know, that scene but it's from her perspective this time. Trudy says, she thinks he's cute. Then he crashes off the table, which I thought was hilarious seeing that again. And then we get to the women's bathroom. Trudy's at the sink, and Ted comes out of the stall.
Yep.
And then he's like, why are you in the men's room? Wait, why am I in the ladies' room? And she's like, well, why are you in the ladies' room? And he tells her that he came in there to throw up. This is when he came the second time.
Yep.
He came back to the bar after Barney put him back. No, after Ted. Or after Barney put him.
After Barney.
Yeah, after Barney put him to bed, he comes back, and as soon as he comes back, he has to go throw up.
Yeah.
And so we think that he broke his streak, but we find out here that he actually did not break his streak. And
on at 3 since 93.
That's right. And they begin to talk. And she says, she had a long week, and she could stand to do something stupid. And I love Ted's line. It's so funny.
I'm something stupid.
Do me.
Yeah.
It's the I'm something stupid. Do me. And she chuckled at it, which I thought it was really funny. If the thing is though, if he wasn't drunk, like visibly drunk, right, that line would come off super creepy. That'd be like a line that Barney would say.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
But it's Ted being drunk, and kind of has that like that Ted cuteness going on that he somehow gives off to the ladies, that it works for him. It really doesn't, and it doesn't come off super creepy.
No, this is one of those sheer moments where like you've said before, Ted can play that Ted charm, and this just happens to fall in that really weird Ted vibe moment where like this line works for him. Where if Barney would have delivered it, it would have been like the creepiest, most cringy thing ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And because like if you take Ted out of this exact scene and put a sober Barney here, the whole thing is really creepy because he's in the ladies' room first off.
True.
And then that line, the whole thing we see that later on in the series where they make that comparison, where it's all about how things are taken by the other person. Like
we talked about that in another episode recently too.
Yeah. Which, like I said, we see later on with Marshall and Lily when they first kind of meet. And I love that they're kind of utilizing that in early episodes. Like things like that if done differently would come off super, super creepy.
Absolutely.
So then Ted asks her for her number. She gives it to him. This is where we find out that it was Trudy who gave Ted the karaoke line. Yeah, this is how he knew that and says it to Carl later on. We also learn that it was Trudy that he called and not Robin.
Yeah, because he accidentally calls her while they're in the bathroom, and he's like, "Oh, it works," and she's like, "Then you should call me."
Yeah, and then after Carl puts his number on Ted's arm, that the person that he calls is actually Trudy. Yep. Which and then she, he asks her to come over, and obviously she does. So yeah, they do. Marshall has a bit of an outburst here. Asks Trudy about the pineapple. You know,
what about the pineapple, Trudy?
He's obsessed with this pineapple, man. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious though. But I feel like there's no one else that it could have been. It had to be Marshall's. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're 100% right on that one.
Yeah, I feel like anybody else, it just like it fits that Marshall's the one. Like, I need to know about this fucking pineapple.
Well, it's a mysterious thing. Like, of course, Marshall's gonna want to know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, did an alien put it there? Marshall might say yes. I don't know. Did a Bigfoot break into the apartment and throw a pineapple there? Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I would believe that. Those fucking Bigfoots, man, they're vicious.
They are, man. They are a wily bunch. A wily bunch. So then Robin shows up, and Ted has to push Trudy essentially into his room, tells her to hide. She thinks that he's like, it's either his girlfriend or he's married. And he's like, you know, I'll explain everything, but you have to hide first.
Yep.
Which seems real weird. It really does. Like, it's like, that's not a situation you want to be in, you know, for her. So the others, so Robin comes in, the others leave the room so that Ted and Robin can talk. Robin plays an awkward phone message from Ted, something that we didn't get to hear or see in the episode. So that means that he was calling her more than we saw.
Oh, yeah.
And Robin's concerned that Ted hasn't moved on, you know? And I mean, we know Ted hasn't moved on.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we see that throughout the next couple episodes, you know, we really.
But he tries to say he has.
Oh, yeah. He wants to believe it. He really does. He wants to be able to say, yes, I have moved on. I'm going to find somebody else. But unfortunately for him, he just hasn't.
Nope.
And so, you know, he tells Robin that he, you know, slept with a girl. He brought a girl home, and he goes to introduce Trudy to Robin to prove that she's real. And when they go in Ted's room, she's gone. The window's wide open, and she's gone. Ted thinks that she climbed out the fire escape, which we do find out later on. That's exactly what happened. And like in a future episode, we find that out. Robin acts like the pineapple is Trudy, and I was like that was kind of bitchy in my opinion. Like, honestly,
it really was.
I was like,
because Marshall, Lily, and Barney can all verify there was a woman in Ted's room.
Exactly. Like, they're just in the kitchen. It's not like they left the apartment.
No,
they went into the kitchen.
Yeah,
they could literally be like, yeah, there was a girl here. Why you acting like this, Robin? Like, I know that Ted called you a bunch last night.
Honestly.
Don't act like a dick.
It makes Robin look like a catty bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, stop being a dick. Like, come on, Robin.
Like, ooh, you're dating a guy with money. You're better than the rest of the fucking group now. We get it, Robin. Fuck you.
Yeah, and that happens a few times with her throughout the series.
Especially when Simon. Whenever Simon fucking comes around, man.
Oh, yeah, Simon. Fuck that guy.
Absolutely fuck that guy with a hot fucking poker right in his ass.
Yeah. So Robin tells Ted, not to feel bad about all this. And I'm like, he has nothing to feel bad about. I mean, maybe he shouldn't have been calling her, but the rest of the stuff he has nothing to feel bad about because he wasn't lying about it.
Nope.
And tells him to get some sleep. Then future Ted reveals that he left a message for Trudy, but never heard back. He says that they never found out where the pineapple came from, but that it was delicious. And we see them eating the pineapple. And that's the end of the episode. There is something that I want to talk about, and that is the pineapple. You know, it's something that is never answered in the show.
No.
However, there is a deleted scene from season 9. This scene was cut out apparently because of time constraints. And so it's just somewhere, it's probably on like the DVD box set. I'm sure you can find it online.
I was going to say, I found it on YouTube.
Yeah, I know I've seen it. So if you guys have not seen this, I highly recommend just hopping on YouTube and looking up the pineapple incident deleted scene or whatever.
Yeah.
Where'd the pineapple? I don't even know what it would be called, to be totally honest with you.
I think it's called the pineapple explanation.
Okay, yeah. So look that up. Essentially what it is, we learn that the pineapple was outside of the captain's townhouse, and Ted took it from the townhouse.
Now, do you remember the story?
I don't, because I didn't go back and rewatch it. I just remember it being there.
The story is that back in the I don't want to say older days, but like yesteryears, people used to put pineapples out for
Would you
sailors
say
and
the Wonder Years? Anyway,
but yeah, so people used to put pineapples out in front of their houses and stuff like that for like sailors, passerbys, gypsies, people to take the fruit and stuff like that, or homeless people even, and they could feed people, and it was a nice gesture to people. And because of the captain being a boat-friendly person, I guarantee he would know that lore. Yeah. Probably put a pineapple out every night.
Probably. He was a weird guy.
He was.
But here's what I find interesting. This is something that's tied to season 1. Okay. Yep. So we're supposed to believe that Ted randomly shows up at the captain's townhouse and steals his pineapple. Yeah, we don't meet the captain until like season 6.
True statement.
So like, I mean, that's a big coincidence.
Well, here's an even bigger thing though. Where in the span of that night does Ted end up across town at the captain's?
That's true. Yeah, because I don't honestly remember where exactly the captain lives in comparison.
Neither do I, but I just remember it wasn't
specifically where the townhouse is.
Yeah,
in comparison to like to the bar and stuff. Yeah, so I'm just like, I don't know how far away it is. It could have been really far. And how did he just randomly get there? Because it's not like he went to the captain's house knowing the captain, because he didn't know the captain. Yeah, so I don't know. It's I like that there is an explanation, but I do wish it was kind of better.
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's me wanting more from my pineapple. So that is the pineapple incident. John, what did you think about this episode overall?
Like I said, this episode is in my top 10.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love the way it's structured with the bouncing back and forth through time, getting certain parts at certain times, but all the good reveals are saved for the end with Trudy, which I love. You know what I mean? Like, they did a great job of piecing this one together.
I will say that this is a great episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Easily, it's one of the first 10 episodes. It's by far probably the best episode in the first 10. It sets up a lot of shit to, this episode puts a lot of shit, like, straight to fact.
Yeah.
Ted's still not over Robin. They introduced the Trudy character, which, like you said, she comes back in, I think it's season 3, season 4.
Yeah, something like that.
It's you get to see like Robin's changing with his boyfriend, the rich boyfriend.
Yeah.
Barney's trying his daddy's home line, which becomes one of his big staples for a long time.
Yeah.
Marshall and Lily just kind of being supporting of Ted, and it's a great fucking episode. Plus, for however long, because this is season 1, and they didn't do the reveal until like season 9 with the whole pineapple incident. We went for like 8 years just wanting to know, where'd the fucking pineapple come from, Trudy?
You want to know what's even worse for Ted? Is he never knows. He never finds out.
That's true.
Future Ted says that they never found out where that pineapple came from. And we're talking 25 years. It's 25 years in the future. He goes 25 years. That would bother the fuck
That's
out
true,
of me.
because that deleted scene technically doesn't exist in the canon of the universe.
Well, like, even if it does, it's not like somebody is telling that part of a story. It's just, here's a scene for the audience to understand.
True.
You know what I mean? So, like, even if it was kept in the episode, it's nobody else knew about it.
That's true.
It's just us learning about it later on. And I feel bad because, like I said, that would bother me. I feel like I had to kind of almost eat at Marshall too, because he wanted to know so bad.
He wanted to know worse than Ted did.
Yeah, and
Ted, in all fairness, Ted didn't even give a shit about the pineapple.
I wouldn't be surprised if Marshall had notebooks of stuff okay, where made a board with strings and shit.
Strings.
Yeah, trying to figure out where did this pineapple come from.
I could see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally believe that.
Oh, man.
All right, so now that we're done with the actual main part of the episode, it is that time again for Barney's blog.
Yeah, it is.
Suit up, bitches. It's time to talk about the blog. All right.
It's getting better.
It is. It's getting better. This edition of the blog is titled Let's Close a Deal.
Ooh.
It was released Tuesday, November 29th, 2005 at 6:03 p.m. And it is a quiz that Barney gives out. It is a are you a closer or a loser quiz?
Oh, boy.
And John, I'm going to quiz you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be good. You're getting quizzed.
All right.
It's only 5 questions.
Okay.
So prepare yourself.
All
Are
right.
you a closer or are you a loser?
Well, I'd like to hope I'm a closer.
According to Barney Stinson. All right. Question 1, John. You're 3 minutes into a conversation with some long-legged Sally when you realize you've already forgotten her name. Oh, no. You decide to A, politely offer, I'm so sorry, your name went in and out of my ears, probably because I was rendered deaf and dumb by your Hellenic beauty and warming smile, rendered so deaf and dumb, in fact, that I legally classified as a moron. B, pull over your wingman and say you'd like to introduce him to her. Then, doing your best to ignore her laughter and the slow advances of your wingman's hand down her back, withdraw from the conversation and attempt to isolate only her name. Did you get it? You did? That's great. C, devilishly inquire what her name is, then suggest that you would have guessed her middle name. You might make an optional Rumpelstiltskin joke here, or alternatively strangle yourself. Or D, nothing, you pansy. Shakespeare said it himself. A name is like a rose, difficult to care for, and thorny as crap. Besides, you've got more important things to do, like secure your action.
I'm going to go with D on this one.
All right. Mark down a D for John. Question 2. You offer to buy her a drink, and she responds, no thanks. In response, you, A, suggest that it's a good call. Irresponsible alcohol abuse can quickly lead to impulsive decisions one might immediately regret, like letting her get away without a drink, dummy. B, playfully respond, fine. How about I buy 2 drinks? And if one happens to find its way into your hand, so be it. So what drink should I get? C, buy her a Cosmopolitan, Daiquiri, Midori Sour, and correctly inform her that it doesn't count as a drink, but it would be irresponsible of her to waste it, given global hunger and whatnot. D, quickly answer, yes, good call. Let's adjourn to my nearby hotel suite for a creme de menthe and back rub conference. Keynote speaker, you.
B.
All right, marking you down. Question 3. After inquiring about her plans for later in the evening, she says, I'm hanging out with my friends tonight. You respond, great. Have a nice evening. It was nice to meet you. Wait, don't forget to take my manhood. You left it in your chair. B, okay, well, maybe you can communicate at some time in the future, perhaps over a meal that I'll wind up paying for, and discover our common interests and endearing personality quirks, possibly over a drawn-out series of sexless, time-consuming dates. C, yeah, I should probably get back to my friends since I'm not going to see them until I'm back from my tour of duty. If I make it back, that is, from my tour of duty, because I'm going to war at a recognized contemporary global conflict. Ergo, I'm a brave man and must likely appeal to some nested desire for protection deep within you. Or D, offer a wistful look to the ceiling. Each day we're given on this, our protective and motherly orb is so special, and yet our de rigueur patterns, our rodentine marathon of repeated behaviors, prevent us from really tasting all of life's passionate flavors. You clench your hands. I'm sure your friends are enjoying yet another average evening, but you, fair and fortunate maiden, have the opportunity to experience, to live, to breathe. Come, adjourn with me to my nearby hotel suite for a creme de menthe and back rub conference. Keynote speaker, you.
He brought that fucking answer back.
Yep.
Oh, I think I'm going to have to go with C on this one.
C? All right. Question 4. It's last call. The lights come on. Suddenly, your long-legged Sally looks a lot more like the long-legged John Spider Sally, former Detroit Pistons forward. Decision? A. You know what? You've had a great discussion in the dark, and you're attracted to what's on the inside, not the particular set of elements that compose her exterior. It's time to gentlemanishly ask for her number so that you may compose yourself for a life with an amazing woman who looks like her face picked a fight with an iron and lost. B. Bid farewell. You've had a nice conversation over the last hour or so, but it's time to rejoin your friends. After all, you're entering combat soon, but not without your virginity. That's safely intact. C. Squint hard. Or D. Mathematical formula. Number of drinks she's had, plus the number of drinks you've had, plus the numerical equivalent of her cup size, minus the number of your friends who have seen her in the light. Her drinks plus your drinks plus cup size, hers, minus friend witness, equals question mark. If the answer is a positive number, invite her to your hotel suite. If it's negative, you run. You run fast and you run far. 0, order another drink and invite her to your hotel.
I like that answer.
All right, D it is. And the last question. Question number 5. Relative success. You've got her phone number, but she's trying to avoid your generous offer of aperitifs and shiatsu, which, again, he brought back the freaking massage thing.
Yep.
Foolishly believing you will call her very soon. If you're going to close tonight, you need to act fast. You've got the ball, Maverick. So A, you suggest she share a cab with you and your friends. You never know. She might enjoy the company of your loud and drunk friends who, in the confined space of a cab, can delight her with colorful language, embarrassing stories, and the various odors they've accumulated throughout the evening. No doubt a natural pheromone. B, you offer to treat her to a late-night coffee or meal, during which she can either sober up or fall asleep while you dig through your pockets in search of change to pay for the basket of fries she made you order, then devoured in front of you. C, forget change of venue. You offer another drink at the bar in speculation of an amazing story you have to tell her. It's a story of an embattled soul and a cold city, a story of desperation and requited love. And guess what? You're the main character. D, ask her if she wants to see your boat/yacht. The best way to catch the moon and the glowing stars is on the Hudson, away from the light pollution of a confusing city.
Ooh, this is a toss-up between C and D. C.
All right. So, you scored 2 points.
Oh, Jesus.
All answers A, B, and C are worth 0 points. D is worth 1 point. If you had scored 5 points, which would have been all D, I would have said, congrats, John. You're a Barney-approved closer. However, because you scored 4 or less points, I get to say to you, congrats. You're a Barney-approved loser.
Well, damn
That's
it.
right. And he says here, if you fail, you have 2 options. 1, you can invest in a buttocks donut and devote a solid 4 to 5 hours to my blog, a veritable guide to women. Or 2, donate your genitalia to science. You clearly have no need for them.
Fair enough.
So there it is, John. I'm sorry, but you are not a closer, according to
It's
Barney
okay.
Stinson. And that was Barney's blog for this week.
Can't all be winners, man.
That's true. That's true. At least not according to Barney. I think I'll take you the way you are, sir.
Appreciate that.
So now that we've wrapped up this episode with a fun little quiz, let everybody know where they can hit you up if they want you to close.
I mean, if you want me to close for you, you can find me on Twitter at Simply Saying J1. It's right over here in this little corner. Or if you're just listening on the podcast, then Simply Saying J1. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Facebook. Pretty much find me anywhere. You can find me hanging out in bushes outside your window sometimes if you look carefully. And, I mean, if I'm not there, I might be at a bar throwing back a beer or two. You never know where you're going to see me these days. Sometimes I'm here. Sometimes I'm there. Sometimes I'm that guy, like I said, in the bushes outside your window. You'll never know.
It's true. You can also find him bearing his soul on his own podcast, Simply Sane with Jay, the Not Your Mama's podcast. Check it out.
Listen to him plug my podcast for me.
Yeah. Check that shit out on Anchor.
And you hop over on Josh's Twitter, which is JPRAYNOR.
Boom. Finally got that shit.
Finally. That's his
right.
main one.
That's right. Or you can hit me up at Movie Blog Merc. That is a Twitter page for my site, Merc with a Movie Blog, of which you are watching, if you are watching, on the Merc with a Movie Blog YouTube channel. So hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and make sure to check off that little bell so you get all the notifications. And, of course, be sure to hit us up on Twitter at Last Call HIMYM. That's Last Call HIMYM. Send us all your thoughts, anything that you want to talk about this episode or any future episode, anything to do with How I Met Your Mother. We're here to talk about it. We love it. And
you see funny little quips, quirks.
Yeah, a funny picture, a meme. I don't care what it is. Send it our way.
Maybe you own a yellow umbrella. Maybe you own.
Yeah.
I mean,
red cowboy
I
boots.
know I own a piece of How I Met Your Mother memorabilia, and Josh knows what I have.
Yeah, buddy. You want to share that with the fans?
Well, for those of you who know me, I don't dress up much, but when I do, I prefer a really great cravat because there is nothing as nice as a cravat. Don't you agree, Josh?
I do.
Or maybe
nice cravat.
if you don't agree with me as much, we'll just call it a tie.
It's true. A very nice tie. Some waterfowl.
But yes, I got the Barney Stinson rubber ducky tie from like late series, season 8, season 9, after he loses another bet to Marshall and he has to just wear it. I got it for Christmas a couple years ago. It was a Christmas present for my mom. Great Christmas present.
Yeah, absolutely. When that episode comes around, you're totally wearing that tie.
Dude, when we get into that season, I will wear it for every episode.
Yes. Loving it. All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Last Call at McLaren's.
That's right. And I hope that you enjoy. And I hope that you come back. John, what you got for them?
I mean, you don't have to go home, but you all can't listen here.
Catch you next time.